In 1948, a historic event unfolded. It was an event that would reshape a land and its people forever. The world saw the birth of a new nation, Israel. Headlines across the globe called it a war, the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. It was a conflict of armies, borders, political declarations, but for hundreds of thousands of people, it was something else entirely. It was a personal and collective tragedy for Palestinians. This was not just a war, it was the Nakba, an Arabic word that translates to the catastrophe. Imagine waking up one day to find your world turned completely upside down, your future erased, and your past left in ruins. This catastrophe was a tangible, lived experience for more than 700,000 Palestinian men, women, and children. They were forced from their homes, their farms, and their communities. Over 500 villages, once vibrant centers of life and culture, were depopulated, and many were systematically destroyed, vanishing from the map as if they had never existed. This official history, however, often overshadowed the human cost. The stories of displacement, loss, and suffering were pushed to the margins, becoming footnotes in a larger geopolitical saga. What happens when the official account of history leaves out the experiences of those who lost everything? But what if there was more than just memory? What if there was tangible proof locked away in dusty archives that could tell the story the world never saw? Within the vaults of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, or UNRWA, lies an extraordinary collection. Here, we find not just statistics, but the intimate details of lives torn apart. There are registration cards filled out by families seeking aid, each one a testament to their existence and their displacement. There are census records from 1950 and 1951, birth certificates, death certificates, property deeds from the era of the British Mandate. Initially, bureaucratic tools for providing aid. Today, these fragile documents have become a powerful historical resource. When families fled in 1948, they took only what they could carry. Amidst the chaos, many made a conscious choice. They pocketed the keys. These were not just ordinary pieces of metal. They were tangible connections to the homes they were forced to abandon. These keys became sacred objects, passed down through generations like precious jewels. This is the key to our house in Jaffa. This one opened the door to our farm in the Galilee. The object itself became a vessel for memory. Today, these keys have transformed into a potent national symbol, representing the collective experience of displacement and the unwavering demand for the right of return. The generation that personally experienced the Nakba is now dwindling. Consider the story of Galia Abu Motir. In 1948, she was just a 4-year-old. Her family fled, eventually finding themselves in a tent in Khan Yunis, in what would become the Gaza Strip. Fleeing as a child in 1948, she finds herself fleeing again as an 81-year-old. Her story powerfully illustrates that the Nakba is not a finished chapter of history. For many Palestinians, it is an ongoing process, a cycle of displacement and loss that continues to this day. Here is where the story takes a crucial turn. For decades, the Palestinian narrative relied on memory. But in a world that demands hard proof, memory alone was often not enough. This is where the archives perform a kind of alchemy, transforming ephemeral memory into solid, verifiable evidence. The twist: the memories weren't wrong, they were right, and now there is proof. An elder recounts the name of their village, the size of their family, that they own land. The archive can produce a 1,951 document that confirms every detail. It shifts the dynamic. It's no longer one narrative versus another. It becomes a matter of evidence, The archive gives memory a voice, speaking the language of evidence. The ultimate ambition is to construct one of the largest family trees in the world, mapping the lineage of nearly 6 million Palestinian refugees. For a young person born in the diaspora, who discovered their heritage later in life, this is a moment of profound connection. Her identity is no longer an abstract feeling, but a documented reality. It reconstructs the very social fabric that the Nakba attempted to tear apart, forging an unbreakable chain of identity. But this work does not exist in a vacuum. The archive has faced immense political pressure, and its preservation has become a battleground. Funding cuts have repeatedly halted the digitization project, turning it into a desperate race against oblivion as the physical documents deteriorate. Nowhere is the fragility more apparent than in Gaza, where local field offices holding unique records are at imminent risk of being lost forever in the conflict. The current crisis has stirred deep historical memories, with many fearing a second Nakba. The scenes of displacement today are a terrifying echo of the past. The story of the Nakba is a story of profound loss, but it is also one of incredible resilience. The UNRWA archives stand as a testament to both. The archives perform a final alchemy, turning the whispered stories of elders into verifiable evidence that can stand in the court of global opinion and potentially in courts of law. They ensure that every one of the more than 700,000 people displaced in 1948 and their millions of descendants has a permanent, verifiable place in the historical record. The archives are the bedrock of that truth. The enduring stake is whether the world will recognize this continuous catastrophe and affirm the right of a people not only to their future, but also to the undeniable truth of their past. The journey into the archives leaves us with an urgent responsibility. Support the institutions that protect this memory. Advocate for the funding of UNRWA's archival projects. Preserve the human side. Support projects that record the testimonies of the last Nakba survivors before their stories are lost forever. Finally, become keepers of the story. Share what you have learned. Talk about the Nakba. Use the evidence to challenge misinformation and demand that history in its entirety is remembered. If you want more deep dives into history, complex truths, and untold perspectives, subscribe to Dark History File, because history is never just one story.